Instagram up. TikTok. All right. What is going on, everybody? I think this is the last time I'm going live on my personal page for Titan Talk Tuesdays. We got TikTok up. Let's see. All right. What's going on? Miss Love It. Kill It. RJ Drums. What's going on? How you guys doing out there? Welcome to Titan Talk Tuesday with me, John, CEO of Titan Medical Center. I'm going live on my personal page. For you guys on my personal page, what's going on? And everybody else is on the Titan Medical Center pages, what is up? So I've got a great show for you guys. We're going to go through it pretty quick, but I've got some great stuff for you guys. One, we've got a new therapy, a new peptide therapy, actually. And it's actually the therapy of the week this week. And maybe you guys have heard of this one. Maybe you guys haven't. But let's talk about Hexarelin. So Hexarelin is another GHRH peptide. So it's kind of like CJC and Iperelin, GHRP2s, Semarelin. It's in that family, right? So you're going to ask me, well, what's the difference then? If they're both GHRHs and they both stimulate growth hormone, which one is better, CJC with Iperelin, because that's two peptides, or Hexarelin? So when we talk about these two, then we want to talk about how Hexarelin is actually more potent and is actually better with stimulating your own growth hormone. So with this, Hexarelin would replace CJC and IPA and actually get you a better result, which I think a lot of people are looking for. And there's a couple of things that it could possibly help with cardioprotective properties using Hexarelin too as well. So a lot of benefits. Can you use it with Testosterone? Absolutely. Can you use it with other therapies? Absolutely. This is just another thing that we've added to the arsenal for our patients and tools so they can help expedite and to get some great results from. So Hexarelin, if you guys have not heard of it, then we'd be happy to talk to you about it if you want to call or text us. Nationwide service. No blood work is needed for Hexarelin. All you have to do is fill out the new patient paperwork and you'd see our medical provider either in our beautiful location here in Tampa, Florida, or if you don't live in Florida and you're not coming to Florida, you can see our medical provider via telemedicine on a video conference. And at that point, you can have your visit like that. And then you can order a lot of our great therapies, including our therapy of the week and new therapy, Hexarelin. Price in Hexarelin is $275 for a 1-month therapy package. It's usually $300. We're giving $25 off, so it's $275 for you guys. So take advantage of this. A lot of people ask me about growth hormone, and they say, hey, listen, I want to get growth hormone. Can you get growth hormone? And I always tell them, like, listen, we really don't do growth hormone. One, doctors are not supposed to be writing it, right? Two, it's very, very expensive. Real growth hormone. I'm not talking about something you get from your buddy down the street, you order online, whatever it is. No, I'm talking about real commercial growth hormone. Because growth hormone cannot be compounded. Legally, it cannot be compounded. So at that point, regular growth hormone, commercial, is very expensive. And like I said, you can get a lot of great results using Testosterone or even Hexarelin, which is the new therapy of the week, to raise your own natural growth hormone and have a healthy lifestyle at that point and not have to spend, you spend nearly a fraction, a third of the cost with going with Hexarelin or CJC or, Testosterone, let's say it's half the cost. Not even 1/3, it's half. It's a little bit more expensive, but it works in other ways. So, when we start talking about these things, then we really start breaking down, like, what's the value of these things and what are they going to do for you, okay? RJ Drums, what up, Austrian Powers? What's going on? RJ Drums said, hey, brother, how much is it for a basic TRT protocol running tests and AI? So if you are getting on a program with us, let's say it's hormone replacement therapy and you're going to want TRT, right? So you're going to get three main things. One, testosterone. To replace, to optimize, we want your testosterone. That's going to be it. The next one is your aromatase inhibitor. Anastrozole is usually what we prescribe. Some people need a little bit. Some people need a lot more. And some people might need a suicide AI like letrozole. That's very, very minimal people. But listen, we do everything. So we want to personalize a regimen for you. The next thing will be gonadal support. So we have a clomiphene or HCG, and at that point, usually the clomiphene is a little bit more financially easy or readable. So usually people will go with that. But if you want to go with HCG, then you can do that way. Price. It's usually between $225 and if you're out of state, $375 for everything. Testosterone, aromatase inhibitors, gonadal support like enclomiphene, your needles, syringes, medical review, and shipping to your doorstep. So that's what it is. Now, the price can be determined by, what's prescribed to you and dosage-wise. So I'm giving you the lowest amount to the highest amount. And that's what it is. $225 to $375. You won't ever be mad at me because I've gave you the highest amount. But listen, if it's a little bit lower, I'm sure you'll be happy about it. Okay? Lino, what's going on? I hope all is well, bro, for sure. And then Medina Underground, how you doing? D-Mac, brother, I'm trying to get Trent and Tess. I'm not trying to only get 300 milligrams of Tess. I'm trying to get swole. Well, D-Mac, you don't need Trend to get swole. You don't need higher than 300 milligrams to get swole. What do I mean by this? And what's the problem out there? The problem is that a lot of people take extreme amount of doses of these androgens or anabolic steroids, right? And that's all fine and dandy, but really, do you need it to grow? No, you don't. At that point, listen, if you took 300 milligrams, your testosterone levels would probably be 1,500 and above, and that's way above normal average. And at that point, you can grow. There's only so many testosterone receptors in the body that's going to take testosterone. So if you're doing 2-3 grams, which is 2,000 or 3,000 milligrams of testosterone per week, or even a gram, which is 1,000, you might be overdoing it. You might be just using excess product that your body's really not utilizing. It's not doing anything with it. Come on. Now, we know Tren is a mass gainer, but is it the healthiest way to go? Absolutely not. Is there things that can get you that result? Maybe a little bit longer. I mean, not much longer, but a little bit longer. And at that point, not have any of those negative side effects that Tren gives you. Come on. Just the cough alone sucks, right? And I'm not talking about people with possible night sweats, irritability, agitation, all these different things that come along with it, okay? I know. I've been there. I'm telling you guys. I've seen it. So at that point, with this and saying that, that's not true. 300 milligrams of Test will definitely help you build muscle. It really depends on how much you're eating and how much you're training and how your recovery is looking like. Straight up. Sleep needs to be in there. Water needs to be in there. But those are the biggest aspects of really what you need to focus on. It's not chemical warfare. Everybody thinks, I take more drugs, I get bigger, I get more jacked. It's not true. It's not true. I know guys, and man, you probably guys that are saying these things, right? Like D-Mac, and I'm not coming down on you by any way. I think it's a great question, or a response to a certain extent because it helps me open up to some of these guys, and maybe even you. Like, I'm on Facebook, I'm in tons of bodybuilding groups, ton of anabolic steroid groups, right? A lot of friends that do these things by themselves, and they're doing their own doses and all this great stuff. But, I see a lot of those people on there, and they tell me what their protocol is, and they look like a sack of potatoes. Like, you cannot expect to look better taking way more stuff and not doing the right things by eating correctly and get your diet on point and training correctly. These are some of the biggest things with recovery. Obviously, that's in there. But these are some of the biggest things that are going to proponent to push you to where you want to get to. So that's really where it's at. I would really stop focusing on drugs, right? It's not just drugs that are going to do it. You could take the most amount of drugs that anybody's done, and you still won't be the biggest guy in the room. It just is what it is. So let's be smart about this. Yet let's utilize the tools for the job. Not just bring a whole bunch of tools and say, hey, listen, maybe this will work, maybe that'll work. Let's see. All right, we got one more question on TikTok. How much... I can't see what the rest of it says. I'm sorry. Oh, well, that's not going to be a question I answer. And John, what's going on, brother? Hope all is well. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're talking about testosterone. We were talking about protocols with testosterone, aromatase inhibitors, and gonadal support, and why you take all three of these components, right, when you're trying to be in a harmonic balance with the body and get all the positive benefits with no negative side effects. And when we were talking about just this, when the guy was talking about how he needed to do so much testosterone to start gaining muscle, well, at that point, let's talk about it. Let's talk about muscle gains. Let's talk about how long does it take to get muscle gains. So they say that if you're an amateur per se, right, and just get into things, it takes about 12 weeks to gain some muscle. Now, if you've already had muscle and you've lost some muscle and stuff like that, you still have muscle memory. You have neurotransmitters in the body that have already been established. So it's easier for you to gain that muscle back. If you're athletic and always had muscle, it's going to be easy for you. Now, having more muscle is obviously a benefit to you in so many different ways. One big thing is the more muscle you have, the more fat your body's burning. That's a great thing right there, right? 2, insulin sensitivity, that improves. When you have more muscle in the body, let's say something happens like you get cancer. The more muscle you have, the better off chances you have for your body because it has more to take from. It's a bad thing, but it actually saves your butt, okay? So this is another big thing I think about muscle that we want to talk about. Now, doing the right things to get that muscle, training properly, eating properly, recovering properly, and drinking water, and doing all the right things. So it really depends on you and how much and how fast you can build muscle depending on what you've done previously and what state you're at and what you're doing in that current state. So that's just some stuff for you guys. All right. Where's to post this? I had a ton of trouble trying to get my estrogen to test ratio dialed in. When I take an AI, even a quarter tab, it gets too low and I feel horrible. But when I don't take it, my E2 creeps up and it's been a ride. Okay, so the best thing, RJ Drums, this is a perfect place to discuss this. All right, so we got to think about some of these things, RJ. One thing is we have to be very consistent with the medications we're taking and the times we're taking them. So what I mean by that is if you're taking testosterone, if you're taking it on Monday and Thursday, keep it on Monday and Thursday. You could try to do it around the same time. I think that would be the best bet. But if it's not exactly on the minute of the last time, it's not going to do it. It's not going to be a problem. Same day, yes, you're going to want to do that. The next thing is that the aromatase inhibitor. How much testosterone are you taking, right? Is it 200 milligrams, 300 milligrams? If you're saying you're only taking a quarter of a tab, that's 0.25 of a milligram. So at that point, like you're taking that, we need to see how much testosterone you're taking. Now, it's not a clean and simple thing like, well, if you're taking 200 milligrams, you automatically have to take 1 milligram of an aromatase inhibitor. Everybody's different. And this is why I keep pushing that to you guys. It needs to be a personalized regimen because everybody's different. There are things and protocols that are made that will do what it needs to do for a majority of the masses, right? But there are those in-case scenarios where it's not. And this is where you can't mass blanket things. So 180 to 200 milligrams. Okay, so if it's 180 to 200 milligrams, you're only taking a quarter tab? Wow. Are you splitting the dose? That's my next question. So if you're taking the 180 to 200 milligrams, are you splitting that dose and doing it 2 days? So if it's 200 milligrams, are you doing 100 milligrams on one day and 100 milligrams on the next day? Like 100 milligrams on Monday, 100 milligrams on Thursday. Usually it's 3 days apart. That's how our regimens are here at Titan, whether it's Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday, and so on. But let's find that out. But the next thing is dialing in that aromatase inhibitor. You might need less, but I guarantee, I think if you split the dosage, Monday, Thursday, 0.45. Where is the E2 going down to? It's a good split. That's a good split. 3.5 day split. That's a good split. That's my split to a T, Monday, Thursday. For that though, all right, so you're taking it 180 milligrams to 200 milligrams, and the aromatase inhibitor is a nashazole, I would presume, and you're only taking a quarter of that tab. And here's the thing. Here's the next thing. So we can customize a dose for you, and even for patients with us, like there are some patients that need a milligram a week. I'm taking 300 milligrams of test a week, right? And I take 3 milligrams of a nashazole a week. 1 milligram tablet Monday, Wednesday, Friday, okay? There are some people that only need quarter AI twice a week, puts me around 28 E2. That's good. 28's good. 17's good. But are you feeling achy joints? Because listen, you want to be between 10 and I would say 25. 28's not bad, right? But you're starting to creep up. But 17's not bad unless you're starting to feel like achy joints and stuff like that. Like that can be a difference. But 17's okay. 17's all right. And now, usually when people say, like, the estrogen blocker goes too low, like, it'll be below 5. And then like, all right, listen, we just knocked your E2 in the dirt. Anxiety gets back and stuff stops working. Gotcha. Okay. So, listen, if you're getting those negative side effects at 17, 28 would probably be good, right? Are you getting the anxiety at 28? If it's 28, there's no problem with that. I would keep it around 28. Like, as long as you're not getting any negative side effects, right? And you're not seeing anything creep up on you. Biggest things I would look for is like water retention, bloating, right? Irritability or sensitivity of things. But, okay, good. Well, I mean, you've answered your question, man. You've literally nailed it. 28 is not bad. 40 is the limit on that of what you want to be at. And when it starts creeping up into the middle 30s and stuff, you're like, eh. But if you can keep it around 28, and that's pretty consistent, and you're consistent with your medication, I think that would, as long as you're not getting negative side effects, that's okay. That's all right. And you can ask your provider too, because I'm not the provider, but that's okay. Okay, so we got some other question on here. What is going on, said Jordan, for sure. All right, so Timbo, why are people so hung up on estrogen with TRT dose, please? All right, so I'll start explaining here. Why are some people so hung up on estrogen with TRT dose? Because you need an anti-estrogen with most testosterone replacement therapy doses. With 200 milligrams, 300 milligrams, 150 milligrams, everybody's different in the sensitivity and the conversion of estrogen in their body or sensitivity to it. But majority of people need an estrogen blocker, whether it's 0.25, 1 milligram, 2 milligrams, 3 milligrams, a suicidal aromatase inhibitor. That's something that people need. And what I mean by 40 is the limit, and you put laughing signs, well, that's the top of the reference range in LabCorp. So I'm educating you. I guess you think that's funny, but it's cool. It's cool with me. Listen, I think it's funny that you're putting these things out here because it's not really making you look too good. But at that point, it's needed. And if you don't take it, you're going to get water retention, irritability, possible gynecomastia. You're going to have negative side effects with your TRT doses. And then the next thing is what people say is out there, which is so ignorant, and ignorant being educated, is that don't start taking aromatase inhibitor until you start getting symptoms. So don't take the aromatase inhibitor until you start getting symptoms. How stupid is that? You're going to get symptoms, right? Just when. They're a very small part of people out there that don't need a aromatase inhibitor. Am I going to say that every single person needs one? No. There have been some cases where we've seen people not take aromatase inhibitors, blood test them, and their levels be straight. There are people that don't get negative side effects from getting high estrogen levels, like, as far, irritability, yes, and I guess I can't say that because they did have some negative side effects, but as far as the other things, pretty good, but it really depends on the person. I get frustrated. I stopped taking the AI. I probably need to be more consistent. Do you take clomiphene same day as AI? You can. You can take the clomiphene, and that might bump it up a little bit more too as well when you take it as far as testosterone levels. So just be consistent with it, man. I think if you're consistent with it and you're only taking the 0.25 twice a week and it's got you to 28 and you're feeling good, then that's the way to go. If you want, be consistent with taking your medication and then blood test just free and total and estradiol ranges. And you can see what those two dial up as, and you can see. And then if you're consistent with the medications, you'll be good to go there too as well. AIs are bad. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You're on my live feed talking about aromatase inhibitors are bad. So what happens to somebody when their estrogen goes through the roof? Timbo, 31, you educate me. Let me know. Because I've been doing this a long time, and I've done a lot of people as far as get them dialed in. How many have you done? Let me know that, please, because Titanmedical Center has been in business for over 12 and a half years and has thousands of patients nationwide. And our protocols work, obviously, because we wouldn't be in business or we get sued. So at that point, you educate me about how aromatase inhibitors are bad. And this is ridiculous because I want to hear from you. I want your answer because we know aromatase inhibitors work. We know they're not bad, okay? If they're used properly, there's nothing bad about them, okay? All right. You're welcome, RJ. No problem there. Any help we can possibly do, let me know. Call or text us. We got your back there too as well. All right. 727-389-3220. Nationwide blood work, nationwide services. If you guys are looking to feel better, look better, perform better, please give us a call or text. At that point, I am going to let you guys go. I appreciate it. Remember, Hexarelin is a new therapy, a therapy of the week. Helps increase GH production, muscle growth, heals injuries, improves sleep, and helps with lean body mass all the way around and boosting the natural metabolism in your body too as well. So, with further ado, I appreciate all you guys. And, Jerome, what's going on, bro? I hope all is well with you, man. I hope your day is going great. Big shout out to everybody out there. I will see you next week for Titan Talk Tuesdays with me, John C.